Hello and welcome to Yin Yoga. My name's Bridget from Lucky Elephant Yoga and Wellness, and I will be leading you through this practice today. For those of you not familiar with Yin Yoga, it is a very grounding practice. And what we do in this practice is we actually hold stretches for about 5 to 7 minutes. And the concept here is about connecting to your yin energy, which is ground, calm, it is connective tissue. It is deep within the body. It is the exhale. All of these things that are kind of the opposite of the yang lifestyle that we tend to lead, that really active, go, 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 muscular lifestyle that we tend to do, and the very active yoga practices that we all tend to come to the mat and do as well. So yin is really about balancing out. And so we allow the body to ground, we allow the nervous system to ground, we connect into that parasympathetic nervous system, which is our rest and digest nervous system. And physically, we allow the body to release muscular effort. We allow the muscles to respond to the stretch, but we give them time to let go. And at about 3 minutes, your muscular structure starts to let go. And then you start to inform and strengthen your connective tissue around your joints. So, a very beneficial practice, and actually one that complements a yang practice very well. I do recommend a combination of yin and yang practices in your life. So if you're doing a little yin yoga, you can do a little vinyasa or hatha or anusara or any of those more active styles, and you'll balance out your system very well. But today we're going to just focus on the yin aspect. So we'll hold these poses for about 5 minutes each. I'll set my timer so you don't have to worry about that. Just make sure that you have a space to practice in. I have my yoga mat down, but you can also do this practice just on a rug. Actually, a little bit more comfort underneath you is actually really nice in this practice. A blanket, a throw blanket, a yoga blanket, something to sit up on and elevate the pelvis with. Even a pillow off of your couch can work as well. And then a couple of yoga blocks, or maybe a couple of bath towels that you can roll up, fold up, and make into almost like a yoga block themselves. All right, so I'm going to show you how to get into the posture. Then you'll put yourself in the posture. I'll set the timer, and we will all just start to release that muscular effort together. Okay, wonderful. So let's get started with our first posture today. Our first posture is going to be lung bench. And so lung bench targets the lungs, as it says in the body, and it's really about kind of opening and releasing these pectoral muscles, releasing the muscles in the upper back, and informing also the low back and the hips as well. So I've taken my blocks on their middle height in an equal sign. Okay, and this block right here is going to come right across the base of my shoulder blades. Okay, so right across it, it's going to support the shoulder blades right there at the upper back. This block is going to support the back of my head. Okay, so let me show you how to get set up in this. All right, so I'm going to lay back and I'm going to find my shoulder blades right on that block and then lay back on the other block. Ooh, and I am actually going to move this block one more step higher. There we go. Just because my shoulders and neck are feeling a little bit more tight today, but that will start to release as I stay in the posture. So you can adjust the blocks. This can be lower if this is a little bit too much for you right off the bat. This can be higher. I don't recommend taking this one higher because it gets a little bit too much into that back bend. And then we want to bring the soles of the feet together and take the knees apart so that we start to target the hips a little bit. Now you can also stuff some cushions underneath the hips if this is a lot, but understand that we want the body to do a little bit of work, a little bit of effort so that there's something to release. All right. My arms can come out to the sides. They can go a little high if that feels okay on my shoulders today and my chest. And there we go. And this is how you set up into lung bench. This is a great posture to help to open into the lungs if you've got any allergies, asthma, any kind of respiratory issue that you just need to open up into your breathing. This is a great posture to do. So I'm going to set our timer for 5 minutes here. So you guys get all set up in your pose. And here we go. And then it's all just about connecting into your breathing. And your eyes can close if that feels available for you today, or just a soft gaze. And start to bring the attention on the inhale and the exhale. And even though we're doing a very yin practice, we want the breath to stay more balanced. So an easy inhale, an easy exhale. And trying to even out the depth and length of the inhale and of the exhale. Okay, so to come out of this pose, you want to move very carefully. Moving very carefully out of every yin pose is very important because your muscular structure has to kick back in to bring you out of it. So we're going to start to slowly bring the knees together. Good. And then start to slowly roll to your right side and make your way off of your blocks. That right arm can extend alongside your ear so that you have a little cushion for your head. Good. Stay just a moment on your right side before slowly pressing yourself up to sit. Nice and easy. And we'll turn just to face center and face one another for a breath between poses. So one of the most important things to remember along this practice is that, yes, we do want sensation, but we don't want pain. So if your body is in a position that is totally unworkable for you, don't come completely out of it, but see if you can just adjust in some way so that it's not so deep for you. And let the body adjust to that depth, and then you'll be able to go deeper. The more you do this practice, the more you'll absolutely see the benefits of it in your physical body and in all of the other stuff that you're doing with your practice too. So our next posture we're going to come into is praying mantis. So I've turned those blocks from their equal sign this way to an equal sign this way so that they're perpendicular to the top of the mat. So we will come onto hands and knees right behind those blocks. Okay, and so with this pose, I'm going to walk my hands forward and I'm going to place my elbows onto my blocks. Now, my hips are going to shift back, but my hips are going to stay in the air, and I want to keep the hips right over, or the hips right over the knees. And then I'm going to start to reach my chest down between my arms. My elbows can bend, my hands can come here. Now, if this height is a little bit too intense for you, you can absolutely lower to a lower height. And if you find yourself sliding off of your blocks, just turn your blocks out on a little diagonal, right? And that might help with a little bit of tight shoulders that might be causing instability on the blocks. Okay? All right, so let's do this one. Let's get all set up into praying mantis. So we're going to just reach the hips back, chest reaches down. Awesome. So to come out of this pose, extend your arms very slowly, press into those elbows, and very, very, very carefully start to come back up onto your hands and your knees. Move super slow, even though you're going to want to like jump out of this pose. Move super slow so that your muscles can kick in the proper way. All right, and then just come back up to your hands and your knees. We can just kind of move the shoulders and the ribs just a little bit. Awesome. Okay, so from here, we'll place the blocks off to the side. And we're going to come into sleeping swan next. So again, from hands and knees, you're going to this time take your right knee forward and wide. Bring that right shin on a diagonal. So for those of you that practice a more yang or vinyasa style, this is pigeon. Yeah? So our right shin is on a diagonal, and then the left leg is extended back behind us. Now, if your hips are really far off the ground, take a blanket and slide it across underneath you. If there's only a little bit of space, you can leave it because we want the hips to be able to release into, right? But what we don't want to do is shift over into that right hip. So if you find that your hips are not even, not neutral, then you need something underneath you, okay? Then I'm going to fold forward. And if folding all the way to the ground is not available, place your blocks underneath your chest and your head. Give the elbows a little move outward so that the shoulders can release. All right, and make sure that that right knee is wider than your ribs so that you can really get into the outer hip. Okay, so let's get set up there. Also notice your back knee. If that back knee is giving you any problems, you can take your blanket or a blanket or towel of any kind, place it across the mat so that your knee can be on that blanket, okay, for just a little bit of extra cushion. So I'm going to do that today because my knee's bothering me just a little bit. All right, here we go. Let's get all set up. Come out of this pose. Just start to walk your hands under your shoulders. Press slowly up through the torso. Good, and then you can either come to hands and knees, you can step back to a downward dog, or sometimes you just like to sit on the right hip and swing the left leg around. Good, and we'll just start to set up in the second side. So the left shin comes forward, the left knee wide, and the right leg begins to extend back, right? And I apologize for not telling you this on the first side, but an option to this, if it's not working for you, is to lay on your back with your ankle crossed over your knee. And then you want to put this foot on something so you don't have to hold it. So you're going to actually lay all the way back, cross the ankle, place your foot on a couch, on a wall, on a coffee table, whatever you can, just to support you up so that you're not having to work by holding on to the back of the leg. Okay? So you can do that variation or you can do this variation. So we just want to make sure that we're in the proper place for our body. So I'm going to move my blanket over for underneath my knee. You might have a blanket underneath your pelvis or underneath the knee, totally up to you. Good, but we just want to make sure that our hips are neutral, and then you can put your blocks underneath your chest, or you can just fold all the way forward. All right, so let's try the second side. Here we go. And remember that if you try something that you did on the first side, and it's not working for the second side, then you can absolutely adjust. So give yourself that permission to do what needs to be done for your body based on how the two sides of the body feel, how each position feels, and each day feels.
And we'll come out of this side the same way you came out of the first side. So place your hands under your shoulders. Begin to press into those hands and slowly roll up through the torso. Good, and then you can, again, if you want to step back to a downward dog again, or hands and knees, or you can just swing the right leg around, your choice. So from here, we'll move into caterpillar pose. So you'll need your blanket or whatever you're sitting up on today. And we're going to place that blanket across the mat. Now, we're going to sit up on the edge of the blanket with the sits bones right on the edge. So once you get the sits bones on the edge, you'll feel a little natural tip of the pelvis. Yeah, so that's going to assist you in your forward fold so that we don't round into the back. So if you find yourself sitting like this and folding forward, then you're starting to round into your low back, and that's a big no-no, right? So for caterpillar, we want to release the muscular effort in the legs. So no flexing, no reaching, no trying to pull yourself into this pose. This is not Paschimottanasana, which is our seated forward fold in our vinyasa practice. This is caterpillar, which is a yin pose, which is all about letting go. So we're just going to fold forward wherever you can go with a nice long spine, and then release your head, release your elbows, release your shoulders. Now, if you would like to, you can stack your blocks up in between your legs and place your forehead on the blocks. That's your choice, or you can just let the forehead dangle, the head dangle, and that weight of the head will eventually lead you deeper into the pose as well, because the weight will also help to assist that forward fold. Okay, so let's get set up in our caterpillar, forward folded. Here we go. I love this pose right before a vinyasa class. So even if you're just doing one pose, this is a great way to open up the space at the back of the body, prepare you for all of your forward folding, your downward dog. And you'll find that when you begin the pose, you're in one place, and when you end, it's a whole different world. Now to come out of this pose, we want to roll up through the spine by pressing down into the hands. And let the spine slowly start to stack. Your head, the very last thing to come up. Good, and then just sit tall for a moment. Take a couple of deep breaths here. Nice. Okay, so next we're going to do a pose on the right and left that's going to target the shoulders and the chest. So this pose is called starfish. So you can slide your blanket out to the side and you'll just need one block for this. And we're actually going to come down onto the belly, swinging the legs around. Good. Okay, so let me show you this pose, okay? So watch me very carefully first. So we're going to have the block right here in front of us. We're going to turn our head to the left, place the side of the head on the block, and extend your right arm out to the side. Then I'm going to flip that right palm up by internally rotating my shoulder joint, and then start to roll over to my right side. And now I might have to adjust my block because I want the block directly underneath my head. Okay, and so I'm here and my left hand is right in front of my chest for support. From here, you can stay exactly where you are here, or you can start to place the left foot down. You can try placing the right foot down. Good, the left arm can wrap around behind you. Or now watch my right hand. I'm not gonna move my right arm, but I can start to reach my left hand for my right hand, leaving my right arm where it is. So anywhere along this journey is completely accessible and acceptable for your body, okay? So on the belly, right arm out, turn the right palm up, place your block on underneath your head. Good. Left hand in front of your chest. You can place that left foot down. You can place the right foot down, totally up to you how deep you go into this pose. Remember not to go to a place of pain, but a place of sensation. And remember, you can always adjust. All right, here we go. Now listen very carefully to come out of this pose. We want to place the left hand in front of the chest. Extend your right leg long. Extend your left leg long and use the left hand support to roll onto your belly. Try not to go too fast, but really be careful and cautious with that right shoulder as you come out of this side. Good. And then you can just turn your head for a moment. Let that right shoulder take a little bit of a break. Good. And then we'll extend the left arm out to the side. And we'll start to move to the other side. So let's internally rotate that shoulder so the palm faces up. We're going to roll over to the left side. Get your block underneath your head. Good. And you can bend your right knee. You can try bending the left knee. You can try reaching the right arm around, but again, don't move that left arm. So only grab the hand if the arm is there and available. All right, good. So remember, side to side is different. Body to body is different. So you go what makes sense for you. All right, here we go. Second side, starfish.
And now we'll come out of this side just like we came out the other side. So place your right hand in front of your chest. Good. Use that right hand for support as you extend both legs long. And you can slide your block out to the side. Very slowly use the right hand to lower onto the belly. Good. And then just turn your head in whatever direction feels most available. Let your arms come down by your sides. And let the shoulders just release for a few moments. Good. And now we're just going to move into Shavasana. So you can press yourself up onto hands and knees. You can swing the legs around. Shavasana is just as important for yin practice as it is for any other practice because it really allows the body to integrate everything that you've done to find neutral and to really encourage even more release, even more letting go. So find yourself as close to neutral on your back as you can, with the legs extended long, the arms down by your side. And let the whole body let go. The physical body, the mind, the breath, all softening and finding that true sense of ease. And begin just to deepen your breath. Wiggle fingers, wiggle toes. Reach your arms overhead and stretch a yawning, awakening stretch. And then bend your knees and slowly roll to your right side. Take a moment here just to pause on your side before pressing into your left hand and rolling once more up through the spine to sit super tall. The crown of your head reaching up, the sits bones grounding down. And I invite you to close your eyes once more or find a soft downward gaze and just take a few more moments in this quiet. With this ease that you have cultivated, the depth at which you have opened and informed the body. And bring your palms together in front of your heart, bowing your heads with gratitude for this practice, allowing us to connect to a part of us that is so needed, so true, to find balance and find peace within us. And as we bring that peace forward, we share it with all beings. Namaste.